It's the Hotel Guys podcast with Paul and Rich. Join the Hotel Guys as they share their stories and adventures together around the world, traveling to some incredible places. You can reach the Hotel Guys at their website, hotelguys.com.
To the most recent version of the Hotel Guys podcast. We're coming to you today from Darjeeling in West Bengal state in India. And we have as our guest today Rajiv Mitra, who is the purveyor of the tea emporium on Ladenlaw Road here in central Darjeeling. Rajiv, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you too for calling me.
Yes, well, we were thrilled. Rich and I are at the tail end of our month-long visit to Darjeeling, and it has been everything that we expected it to be. And we were fortunate enough to find you and your brother. What was your brother's name?
His name is Ranavir Mitra.
But we met your brother, and then we met you. It was honestly, I think it was on our second night that we were kind of roaming around the streets of Darjeeling. And I swear we really found a wonderful tea resource in the Tea Emporium shop. It's a very inviting location, again on Ladenlaw Road, right in central Darjeeling. And we've just really become quite good friends, I would say, over the last month.
Absolutely.
So we've been drinking your tea, and you have a lot of tea options. So we wanted to just thank you for being such a gracious host to teaching us so much about tea here in the beautiful tea region of northeastern India. It's been such a joy. And so we just want to learn more about you.
Yeah, so let's begin the conversation and just tell us about you, where you come from, and a little background.
Absolutely, sir. Basically, I'll try to, bring together my family and my business all together, and we go smoothly with it. So let me start. We are here in Darjeeling for last 4 generations now. I am the 4th generation.
You are.
Wow. My grandfather, Mr. Vibhuti Bhushan Mitra, he was working at the St. Paul's School during the mid 1950s to the end of 70s, you can say.
Okay.
And my dad was very young then during the 1970s. So after his college, he wanted to start the tea business. So grandfather retired from the St. Paul's School, and he helped my father with the venture. Then they slowly started with small gardens, and small batches of teas, because in those period of time, in Darjeeling, it was not that much of a famous place for tourism. Mm-hmm. So slowly, gradually, the show moved on, and in the 80s, when the tourism picked up in Darjeeling, I would rather say, he started getting more into varieties of single estate teas, and from there I'll just bring it forward that even I was about to finish my schooling during the mid 90s and late 90s.
Did you attend St. Andrew's School?
No, I attended Green Lawn School.
Okay, and that's here in Darjeeling.
Yes. So after that, I wanted to actually join the Indian Army. Okay. I was preparing for it. I was quite a good, if not the best, quite a good student. But my father fell ill then. He was not well. He was an asthmatic patient because Darjeeling is a damp area.
Right.
So I might also get in future. Who knows? Okay, let's keep that aside.
Was it just like a lung problem?
Yes. Breathing problem, because
right.
less oxygen and because of pollution.
Right.
Right. Everywhere it's growing by the day in India, I would say.
So as a boy, then you just grew up in the tea industry just from the get-go.
Absolutely. Whenever Dad used to come back home with the samples in his hand, he used to do the tasting at home, asking my mother to make the hot water. And from there, I used to sip into some teas, and it was getting interested for me. But as I told you, I wanted to join the Indian Army, but due to some family problem, someone had to run the show, because Dad was getting sick and grandfather had already passed away. Yeah. So what happened was, I was very fortunate that my father had sent me to a good school where I met a lot of people. Now I'll tell you why did I mention that, because I came back to the tea business, but I told Dad, look, Dad, I don't want to do it in the conventional way.
Yeah.
I want to give it a twist.
A modern twist.
Yes, a modern twist.
So tell us about the modern twist.
Absolutely, I'll talk about that. So, my father had few clientele then, to whom we used to export teas in bulk. But, I used to read about it, though it did not started in early 2000 also, about the online thing in India. But, I used to read the papers, magazines and see and, hear about things, how people buy it on the internet and how you sell it, how you grow the clientele around. And sir, I was not very serious about it though. And one day, what happened? I did an order, but the merchant somewhere, I don't want to mention the name of the merchant, he started taking advantage because we were on the weaker side in terms of financial problems, because the order was growing, but we did not have that much finance to buy it from the garden and supply it and give credit to the merchant.
Oh, so not enough finances.
Yes.
Okay.
Because we were growing, because the moment I joined the business, I started to give it a twist by sending samples and regular correspondence.
Right.
And I started by writing letters, you'll not believe me. I started writing letters because, I did not know how to correspond then. So, after that, what happened? I met a friend of mine who is in Bangalore at the moment. He was into this IT thing. And I told him, brother, look, I'm doing this tea thing. You have this thing. You are earning good amount of money. But what if in your free time you earn more money?
Right.
By helping me out into the e-commerce world.
Well, and on my reflection, just because I worked in that world too early on at the same time, and that things were changing very rapidly.
Absolutely.
And, the conventions, the technical conventions were really maturing over a course of time, and it had a big impact on the marketing and sales efforts and the possibilities for far-flung operations
Right.
around the world. And so somewhere along the line,
It's so funny because as a teacher,
Yeah.
I was helping kids learn computers in that kind of era of 2000.
Yeah.
And so we were all kind of
part of this
things
modern
were changing.
push.
Absolutely.
So then Emporium.net, your website, must have been born somewhere right around then. Is that right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What year did that get launched?
Sir, this is where I wanted to come, sir. I was working with this merchant and things did not work with him. And I met this friend of mine who was an IT guy. So we started, with a normal website. It was not an e-commerce website where you fill the forms of what teas you want.
And then just submit.
Yeah, just send, and I just start corresponding through the mail. And so the problem was receiving money from the other end.
Yeah.
Because it's
Yes.
very, it was not so easy. Right now it is. Like right now we have PayPal, 2CO.
Right, there's all kinds of
the
settlement
payment
options.
gateway. But
Yeah.
then if you had to buy a payment gateway from a big bank in India, I think it is more expensive than your business what you're doing.
Right.
And
At that time.
Yes, at that
Yeah.
time. So slowly, out of maybe 100 orders, 100 queries, maybe 5 worked, 6 worked, because even out there, particularly I was working with the European Union and the US clients, they did not have time to order my tea, go to the bank, transfer the money, wait for the money to come back to me. Again I say, sir, I did not receive the money.
Right.
So that was really painful for them. And look, they even the good teas of Darjeeling, we were exporting it to the US and the European market.
Right.
So they would get it there. So, slowly, I made one thing in my mind that I have to save money. If I don't save money, I won't be able to get the stock, because Darjeeling tea is a boutique product, sir. I told you before also. It is not a
Right.
consumer good.
Right.
So, when you buy the tea and if you want the best of it, you have to pay in cash. If you pay in cash, then you can place a complaint. And if you are not paying in cash, you have to go through the auction system, where the tea again takes 2 months to 3 months to come through the auction to the buyer again.
And so
Right.
where is the auction?
Sir, the major auction of Darjeeling tea takes place in Calcutta.
In
It is called
Calcutta.
R.N. Mukherjee Road. It's the name of the place is Neelhat House.
Right, and actually, I just read about that within the last couple of days, within a few weeks, about a month or so after our swing through Assam's coming up.
Right.
We're going to be in Calcutta, and I noticed that you can actually visit there as tourists. So
and
we
on
will-
Tuesday, you could, if we could have met, 1 month back, the second flush going on.
Uh-huh.
So it would be more exciting for you to understand one tea going for a low price, one tea going for a havoc price,
Right.
So
right. We've heard about that tea that was about
yes.
$1,250 a pound.
Yeah, yeah.
I think is what it
Yeah.
was. Yeah.
Yes, that's amazing. So
Yeah.
you mentioned flush. So until I arrived in Darjeeling, I had no idea about first flush, second flush, autumn flush. So can you break that down so that our listeners can better understand?
Absolutely, sir. So basically in Darjeeling, we do the harvest from March to November.
Right.
Now, during the month of March, the new shoots and buds comes out. So that is the starting of the first flush, because before that, January and February, either the bushes are pruned and the factories are closed because of the winter. So the tea bushes go to hibernation.
Right.
So the first shoot that you get in the early first flush, that's called the top end first flush teas, because it is plucked from the selective plucking bushes. And of course the shoots and buds are very succulent, so obviously without doing anything also you'll get very, very high flavor out of it.
And
Right.
so in the market, is that the highest price that you're paying? then?
Basically, sir, I'll simplify simplify the thing for you. Like for example, first flush, March, April, May. These 3 months we are making first flush. Now, early March the production is low, the leaf quality is very high. That's why the price is very high.
Okay.
It's like a new fruit in the market.
Sure. And
Right.
those are like lighter, more aromatic
It is.
teas.
I will tell you, sir. Those teas are extremely floral, extremely overpowering flavor, and you can say it is very potent.
Very
Right.
potent.
It is very, very potent. Even if you steep the same leaves 3 times, because Darjeeling tea is fragile, I must tell you, it is not like Chinese tea, like you can keep on pouring hot water
Right.
and drink it like the oolongs.
Right.
Darjeeling tea is very, like light and delicate, like a good single malt whiskey.
Yeah.
But
That's
during
a
the
good-
early March, it is so potent that if you add 3 times, like the tea that you took from Samabian,
Right. The
if
red
you
that
just brew
red-
it,
Yeah.
not the burgundy, the
Oh,
other
okay.
one.
Okay.
Yes, the
The
first
more,
spring flush.
the more you brew it, you will see the more flavors and characters that come out.
Well, and I learned that it isn't just like once and then you throw the leaves away. That tea,
Yes,
I could brew
you
a
should-
second pot.
Second to 3 times also.
Yes.
But the thing, now where the quality drops is that when you enter the month of April, what happens? The humidity and the atmospheric temperatures grows. So the flushing or the growth of the tea goes haywire. So every plucking every new shoots and a bud is not possible, because this runs on a manual labor.
Wow.
So what happens? The quality of the tea fairly goes down. I will not say bad, fairly goes down. But when we enter May, I'm sorry, we are going towards the dormant period. Dormant period means the bushes has given you enough. So they have gone haywire. So that is the resting time where they again remove the dormant leaves and they get prepared for the second flush, which is June.
Right.
Now June is the most fragile and most short time of the harvest that we do in Darjeeling.
So why is that?
Because between the early spring I would say, and monsoon, the summer is very, very short in Darjeeling, and second flush is the most most in demand, I would say, because of its unique character. Tea lovers around the world, they say that the character that you get in second flush, which is always almost all the time denoted as the muscatel character, where the tea lover compares it with the muscat wine.
Right.
So this character happens in this region only during this period of time.
Yes.
So we have malt liquor and wine analogies.
Yes,
So
yes.
the listeners
Yes,
can now
Like
understand.
first you were drinking white wine, sparkler, delicate, floral, flowery.
First.
Yes.
Yeah.
Second flush, the tea
Like the-
now is getting body in it.
Right.
So it is getting matured. So it is more like a red wine.
Right.
It has roundness and
Oh.
a rich muscatel flavor, very fruity.
Yeah.
Now, sir, in this period of time, the tea maker has to be a very, very perfect chef, you can say, in tea.
Right.
So he has to plug the tea in the right time, because you can say the peak time of second flush is like 7 days to the max. I'm talking about the top quality teas.
Wow.
Did you say 7?
7 days
Only
One
7.
week.
For the harvest of the second flush.
Yes, of the top teas, because
Right.
it's starting from June 1st to the end of June, maybe first week of July,
Yeah.
until the monsoon comes.
Right.
But the peak time, the real good quality,
Is the beginning,
like the
yeah.
burgundy that you bought,
Right.
that can happen maybe early June or mid-June or third week of June. So you have to be inclined and regular in touch with what's happening with your tea. And with this comes our role also. Sir, we regularly taste about every day. We taste about, I will say, nothing less than 30 teas even now. And during that period of time, this time in first flush, due to my orders and other things also, because I was really gone out of stock, because last year we did really good business in my e-commerce thing. So we would, one day I did about 155 cups of tea. We don't drink it though, it, we throw it out.
Right.
But
Taste
still,
and
yes,
spit it out.
and I had so much caffeine in my body that I
Even-
suffered an anxiety attack.
Even from just spitting it out.
Yes,
Just
yes,
from-
sir.
But you're tasting
Yes,
to
you're
find
tasting
the
it.
right
Yes.
teas to offer to
Yes,
your
sir.
customers.
And after the second flush, starts the monsoon. Monsoon
Okay.
is July,
July.
August, September. Now, during this period of time, the humidity is more. It's raining, so maybe 70% more leaf is harvested during the
Production.
monsoon. But the quality of the tea goes down.
Right.
The moment you cross summer and the spring and the summer, I mean,
Yeah.
then the quality of the tea goes down. So these 3 months, they do the traditional tea, and big companies from the various part of the world, they come here and they buy the tea because the quantity is there.
Right.
Because in first flush and second flush, as I mentioned, it is a boutique product.
Right.
So you cannot name a big company coming and buying a 20 kilo of tea and going. They need in containers like 8,000 to
Right.
10,000 kilos of tea.
And they're blending
Yes,
and
so
mixing.
I will come to
Yeah,
it. I'll come
yeah.
to it. So
Well, first of all, I just want to say the first and second flush teas that we bought from you on the second night that we arrived, I have never had boutique tea like
Absolutely.
that. And back
And
in
we drink high-end tea
We do,
that
and-
comes from this region, but the way it's prepared or
Yes.
blended is we're going to get to.
yes,
we'll come to it. So basically what happens is that I will come to this point and it will relate to my e-commerce startup as well. Let me finish
Okay. Yeah.
the harvest.
Explaining, right.
har-
So we're up
harvest.
to the third harvest
Third
of the
harvest.
year,
So
which is
big
the
companies
monsoon.
we were talking about, they come here because blending is not bad. Blending is an art. Like any alcoholic beverage or any beverage in the world, if you blend it right, people love it.
Right, wine,
Yes.
coffee.
Yeah, absolutely, sir.
Yeah.
Like big companies, sir, they cannot sell first flush, second flush, rains, autumn. They cannot, because they have to sell it as a brand, and there has to be a signature taste in their tea. So what happens is that they buy the third harvest because of the quantity and because of the price factor.
Right.
Because the price factor really goes down. And the autumn third flush, that's monsoon flush tea, it's you can say friendly towards blending, because it's a very neutral kind of tea. It is not very aggressive in flavor.
Right.
Neither it is like strong like Assam tea.
Yeah.
So this is very neutral to blending. So people make different kinds of blends out of it.
Right. It lends itself to a mass market.
Yes, mass
product,
market.
a more mass market.
Yes,
Yeah.
and which you get in the supermarkets back home. So for that you have to have the monsoon teas. You cannot sell first flush there, because you have to create your own identity in a can of tea as well.
Right.
So that you cannot do with my tea, because my tea, sir, I will come to that also.
Yeah.
My tea, people recognize our tea for its extreme flavor profile. But when you go towards a brand, you go for their kind of flavor profile. You don't go for the natural flavor profile. Because in one thing, naturally it is not possible to make the same taste in so much tons of tea.
Right.
And secondly, they have to standardize it, sir.
Right.
If you buy, for example, a company from X brand of tea.
well,
so
my favorite. I'm going to put in a commercial now. Back in Portland, it's Smith Tea, and I keep
That's
doing
what-
Right.
little mini commercials everywhere I
Yeah.
travel with
So
tea.
I'm sure, sir.
It's a blend.
That they
I'm
have-
sure, sir.
They've got
when
their
you-
tricks.
Right. No, it's not that, sir. I will tell you what. So the proportion. I will not call it a trick, sir. I will say that is an art. Because
you
sir,
go.
whenever you buy this Smith's tea you were talking about,
Yes.
I'm sure you want that taste in it. Every time you buy it, it should taste like that.
Yeah.
And it
So
does.
And it does.
It does. It delivers every
sir,
time.
like you in my shop,
At a premium
I've,
price.
I've sold you a tea from Samabiong first flush and a second flush, and if you just close your eyes and taste it, you'll say it is two teas from two different gardens.
Right.
Because we sell the tea single estate, unblended. So every season will vary from each other.
So
Yes.
everything you sell is single estate,
Single estate, sir.
unblended.
That's the reason on our website, sir, we are teaching clients like you that you should also see the batch number. Like one tea, single estate tea is $20.
Right.
One single estate tea is $10. So you know why. So you should know the batch number. So the batch number means the more early, the more better in first flush.
Yeah.
The more late, it's going towards the dormant period we were talking about. And the difference, again, high flavor, no bitterness.
Right.
As a layman, if I speak, the dormant period, some flavor, bitter. That's the reason you are paying that difference in premium of price.
Right.
And okay, the monsoon is also over. Then comes the autumn.
And so the monsoon is ending at the end of September.
You can say
before we go into autumn, Paul, identify who we're speaking with during this podcast.
Right. So thank you again, Rajiv Mitra from Tea Emporium. And you can find his website at teaemporium.net. And he works with single estate, boutique, unblended teas from all over the Darjeeling region, and he sells them all over the world. So yeah, again,
Yes, and
Rajiv, thanks for being with us.
totally, and we're doing this recording. This podcast is coming from the Park Restaurant, and I have to just thank them for the space. And Paul and I discovered the restaurant soon after we discovered your fabulous tea. And so we have been having great meals every time we come to this restaurant. So thanks to everyone here at
Right.
Park Restaurant.
Thai cuisine is amazing.
Oh yeah, it's one of our favorites. And you can find actually both of these locations, including Rajiv's shop, Tea Emporium on Ladenlau Road in central Darjeeling. And we're actually here at the very end of the monsoon season. So it's a good segue back to then you call it the
Autumn.
The autumn.
The autumn,
flush.
sir, autumn will set like everything, sir. Before the autumn used to start, you can say on the mid-weeks of October and end by 1 month to the max. But due to the climatic and soil conditions these days, particularly climatic conditions these days, the moment the temperature falls, we will be able to see some hint of autumn in whatever teas that comes out in that period of time. But again, autumn, sir, is supposed to be the most mature tea that we do here in Darjeeling. In terms of maturity, I'm saying people have their own preferences, but I think autumn is the most mature tea because it's starting from March and it's getting plucked every day and it's going towards November, the end. So you can well imagine how matured the bush is. It's trying to give its best and then go to bed.
Right.
That is hibernation.
Wow.
And again,
That's
no
interesting.
fertilizers.
No fertilizers. Sir, in Darjeeling, the tea gardens have become very, very, cautious about using quality fertilizers, natural neem-based sprays.
Right.
Because, sir, we are dealing mostly in the overseas market. The main average of the tea comes from the overseas market. So when they are getting premium, it's a logic.
Right. Well,
they
they're
will
looking
not take
for
trouble for
right.
that.
No, they're looking for. I mean, they're
Organic.
looking for organic.
Mostly organic.
Yeah.
And so you'll not believe it, in Darjeeling we are doing some gardens are doing biodynamic teas also.
Wow.
Where they follow the moon cycles and things like that.
Yeah.
I'm sure when people go deep into it, they'll know more about it.
Yeah.
This is why we came, because when we were in southern India almost 2 years ago, we started drinking tea and people kept saying, oh, wait until you go to Darjeeling. And Paul and I kept thinking, oh, we're not going to
we're
get there on this
not on
trip.
that
And
trip.
so here we are. Now tell us more about then the autumn flush.
So in the autumn flush, sir, what happens? Since it is extremely cold, you're going towards the winter now. So the shoots are very, very less in the tea, the buds I mean. So you'll see mostly teas made from the leaf. So the 2 leaf and a bud plucking standard comes to like mostly 2 leaf. Okay. So the buds are, it's actually, no more birth is taking place. The 2 leaf and a bud is not, conceiving the new ones, which is made to use the new tea because it is getting cold. Right. So whatever tea they make and they they are compelled to stop it all of a sudden, because the moment the like weather conditions go down
Yeah.
due to the temperature, they cannot make any tea, because the leaf will become stiff. The moment it becomes stiff, you cannot manufacture it again. So that means the tea bush is telling you, stop it now.
Right.
So
Let
you
me
said,
sleep.
let me just clarify. So once the leaf gets stiff, then it can't be produced into.
So you can pluck it, but it will not be a tea,
Ah,
because that's
It's a
not
leaf.
what you use.
the flavor is not in the
It's
leaf.
not there, and it will look like a like tea goes through many manufacturing process, like from the withering, from the plucking, withering to the firing. So 6, 7, 8 processes.
Right,
So,
depending on if they're making
when
white
you are
tea
plucking
or
a dehydrated leaf,
Right.
and like if you are giving it too much manufacturing, then what keeps is some broken leaves and some twigs and sticks, so you cannot call it tea.
Right.
So we stop it right there. And one more thing, sir, in Darjeeling we also have started making some specialty teas. Like I'm sure the Chinese, the starters of tea is the Chinese market or China. They learned to make some good muscatel teas from us also. People might deny, I don't mind in that. So
a healthy
likewise,
competition.
yes, but we also learn, because being a client, tomorrow you might say, Rajiv, I drank enough of your black tea, let me try a oolong from Darjeeling. So this way, even the specialty teas also started making in Darjeeling. You will not believe it, in the monsoon period, when they fetch less price, to increase the average, if you talk
Of
to
price.
a tea garden owner or a manager, they will also say that we are doing specialty teas like green teas,
From the-
oolongs. Yes,
from
from
the
Darjeeling.
monsoon
Yeah,
flush.
yeah, from the monsoon flush.
So with regard to the autumnal flush, then what's how would you describe the flavor profile
So-
and the price point?
Sir, I will tell you one thing. Then I will give you my personal opinion on it also, because the autumn period starts after the monsoon ends. So what happens? The monsoon makes the tea little stronger and harder. Okay. In terms of color, I will not say it is strong and robust, because you are still growing tea on 3,000 feet elevation onwards in Darjeeling. So the liquor of the tea is more orangey, okay, and the flavor profile is flowery. Some gardens burn it, we call it fire, so it becomes little chocolatey also. But the real character of autumn is floral but matured.
So kind of
Floral
like
but
like the
mature.
floral of the spring of
Like
the first
floral of
flush.
the spring, sir, you can compare it, I think, with any flowers directly,
Right.
because it is hardly processed, sir. It is kept as natural as
Right.
possible.
Okay.
They don't spoil the character of the leaf. Maybe if they are withering, they just wither it up to the point till the moisture is out. They put a very less oxidization process to it, so that you get the fresh,
Right.
the real succulent flavor of the tea.
So, do you have to brew this tea longer than a white tea?
So
Or the-
basically, when you say white tea, sir, white tea is something which is next to unprocessed. They pluck it, dry it.
And that's-
White tea is done.
Yeah.
The more you touch the tea, more you manufacture the tea, you are actually killing the antioxidants in it.
Right,
Okay?
oxidizing
So
or-
white tea, you need a 60-degree or 50-degree water. But a good Darjeeling tea, let's not make things complicated for the listeners. What you do is you make hot water, okay, and you put the hot water in the teapot and wash it and throw the hot water, okay. Then you put the tea leaves, 2.5 grams per cup. That's 110 ml of water per cup, and you pour the hot water, then the same hot water that was kept aside. So that is about 80-85 degrees.
Not
So that-
boiling.
not
Not
boiling,
even
never,
close
sir.
to.
If you
Yeah.
boil our tea, sir, since it is growing in such an elevation, you'll land up cooking it. So that tea will become astringent.
Right.
And I think many people boil their water
Make the tea
at home and they
too hot.
think, okay, it's now
Right.
time to brew. And you're actually damaging.
Well,
and I learned
yeah.
this from the coffee people in Costa Rica when I started to brew my favorite coffee, Sikawa coffee. And he stopped me immediately and he said, oh, no,
Too
no,
hot.
no, too hot.
Yeah.
And the coffee flavor just
True.
changed just like that.
And sir,
Same with tea.
now I was talking, I will tell you my perspective of tea as well. Sir, what I do is I brew the tea complete 5 minutes. Okay.
At 85 degrees
Absolutely,
water.
sir.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And what I do is I strain it, I drink it lukewarm, and the bottom of the cup, I just wait for that period to come, bottom of the cup, where the tea is next to cold, not cold, but next to cold. Then you get the ultimate sip,
Then
sir.
you get maybe the
Yes.
chocolates if it's been
Yes,
burned, or
like
maybe
when you sit, like the tea that you've taken from me, just wait, have a conversation with your friend. But like all of a sudden, when you are sipping the last sip, you'll see, oh my God, it's something different.
It's so true.
You're making me so
You're so
thirsty.
true.
It's so yeah, it is.
It
It's
is, and
great.
I didn't realize this.
And sir, good tea, one more thing,
Okay.
should sit after you finish the cup on your palate for at least 15-20 minutes. I consider it to be good.
Just let it.
Just the flavor, boom, finished. That is not good tea.
All right, so I have just one more. This is so exciting, and we're talking tea in Darjeeling. It's been my dream for months and months. Since we arrived and purchased your tea at the Tea Emporium, Paul, before he goes to sleep, several times in nearly the month we've been here, he's like, I can't wait to wake up in the morning to have my cup of
Right,
tea.
yeah.
And so,
Sir, like any other beverage, if your tea is really good, sir, the amount of caffeine, L-theanine that is there in the spring teas particularly that you do, it is very, very marginal. So, every time you drink the tea, you will not feel irritated. You will
Right.
feel nice about
Yeah,
it.
elevated but not irritated.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. That's a very good word.
So on teaemporium.net, your primary, interface to talk to the world and send your teas. So are your teas for the first flush only available in the spring, and then you sell out, and then the second flush
sir,
in the
I will. That's a very good question you have asked me, sir. What happens is that the remaining tea what we have, it is there on the website. Like I still have some first flush teas from 2018, and we are selling it at a discounted price.
Right.
And one thing, I am very, very strict about quality, because every package that goes through from Tea Emporium goes through my hand as well. So we see the optimum care for the tea so that no moisture is there. There is nothing called secondary grade in my store. That is a challenge for me as well. Every day I challenge myself. And what we do is,
your grandfather would be proud.
yes,
I imagine.
Oh.
yes, sir. And basically, sir, now here comes the tea taste. We were talking about the Calcutta auctions. Here
Yeah.
comes the tea tasting. I've been very lucky because I wish you could have met my father, who passed away though. He sent me to Kolkata to learn tea because he wanted this subject to be interesting for me. Because I wanted to do something else, I wanted to join the army.
Right.
So when I went there,
what age were you then? when he
sir,
sent
I
you?
was 19 years old.
19.
And how old are you now?
Sir, I am 35.
Okay.
35.
35. Sir, and I went to Calcutta, and when I went there, then I realized, when I look at the tea, world of tea, that is an ocean, this is just a river. This is not even a river, this is a pond. Why? Because all the gardens make their tea and send there, because all the head offices, because Calcutta is a port city.
Right.
So all the samples goes there. So every day we were doing about 200 samples, 300 samples. Then, when I met my friend for this e-commerce, then I realized,
In Bangalore.
and also that company, I realized we should introduce, why should you buy tea from me? Why? There's no reason to buy. But I made a reason to buy that the tea should be very distinct from each other.
Right.
So when you buy our Darjeeling teas, maybe first flush, we are selling right now about 10 first flush, mostly it is sold out from this spring. You taste every tea, sir, every tea is different from each other. This is where the tea tasting skill comes. Because you just cannot say that I sell the best tea, because every garden, makes the best tea according to them.
Mm-hmm.
So it should be different from each other. And this is where my business stands, differently from other. My each tea is different in terms of flavor, liquor, cultivar, processing. All in all, you will. I want to sell you few teas which will not make you boring.
Well, you have the expertise. You were born here. You know the gardens, and
Not only that, sir. One more important thing which mostly people don't understand. People think I'm in Darjeeling and I sell the best tea. I'm in Brazil, I sell the best coffee. It's not like that. You have to understand what is the water profile of the place where you are selling the tea. Because you taste the tea here, same tea you take back home, it might be 20% good, 20% bad. because of the water. Water changes, tea changes.
Yeah.
So this is, I'm not a perfect person in this, but I'm trying and still learning to fine tune the thing. Like for example, an order comes from Germany. If he's asking me, Rajiv, what to buy, then I give him this idea. Mostly like in US, we are selling in the California area. Mostly tea buyers individual coming from there. So I can tell you, you go for always early season first and second flush teas. Because I have seen the early season first and second flush teas, I won't be able to tell you the exact flavor, water profile of that place. But I know the sharpness of our flavor will come really good in their water.
Right.
Well, Paul and I had actually met a woman from China who had just recently opened a shop in Portland.
On
and
Northwest 9th Street in the Pearl, by the way.
Yes.
But yeah, and she was adamant.
She was so specific, even to the brand of the water bottle, that she only recommends for
pH
the water.
balance.
Yes.
Yeah. and
Yes,
so on.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree to that. But that is only possible, for a very small group of tea lovers.
Right. It is.
But
It's
if you want
somewhat
to, if you want to grow your business, if I talk about it from business point of view, I have to make it simple, sir. I cannot tell you that carry a litmus paper.
Right, of course.
It's not possible.
But I think
That's
it's
right.
but it's good to convey that the water quality that one uses to brew your
we are saying that the
makes a
tea,
big
the
difference.
water should not be hot.
right. It should not be hot, and just use your better sense and use the best quality water you can think of it, or just experiment with what you perceive to be different types of water and see if one tea tastes different.
And I'm going to bet you $100 it'll make the world of difference, because I've witnessed it myself.
We have too.
Yes,
we
sir.
both
And
have.
also, like the moment you change the place where you're using the water, I will always say, start experimenting with the brewing time as well.
Right.
Maybe in Darjeeling, 5 minutes is awesome. The tea gives you everything. But if you do 5 minutes in maybe Germany, the tea
Right.
will be bitter.
Yeah, maybe a bit too long. So don't hesitate to be creative. And, it may very well be that some of our listeners are, as we are, lovers of things like fabulous wines that come out of the west coast of North America where we live, or other parts of the world, or fine coffees like we've discovered our listeners know about within the last year. Experiment with tea. If you're a coffee drinker, take a week off and just find some great teas, or go to teaemporium.net. Tea is very light to ship. I imagine it doesn't cost an absolute arm and a leg.
Nothing.
Tell us about this whole shipping business.
Sir, it's very, very easy, sir. You place an order through my e-commerce store. You get the confirmation of your order. We send your teas as a personal, like a
Parcel to your
personal parcel. So you are not commercially importing it.
Right.
So there is almost no tax at all.
Right, you're paying with US
Yeah.
dollars. It's settled through a bank in the US,
Yeah,
so your
absolutely.
regular
And in
credit
India,
card.
we are paying tax on it. So we are sending you small packages, like up to a few quantities given on our website also. It is absolutely legal and tax-free to import, and you enjoy every bit of it. And one more thing, on our website, if you order 1 kilo of tea,
Which is
you
a
order
little over 2 pounds.
Yes,
Yep.
you order 10 different 100 grams. I will never force you to buy one variety of 1 kilo, because even I get bored with 1 kilo of
Right,
tea.
that's a
drinking
lot,
it
and that's a
every day.
lot of tea. Most teas are not that dense, and so 2 pounds of tea can be a lot. But if you have 10 different selections,
Samples,
hey, it
that's-
sounds like a great gift idea.
I'd
for
love
people,
that
maybe
idea.
And so every day you change your taste. Like it's not
Yes.
like the same coffee you are drinking every day.
Right.
Right.
So let me ask you then. So the deliveries come by way. I think you've told us before,
Sir,
DHL or
sir,
FedEx.
to US market, these days we are doing FedEx because they are really, really good. I
FedEx.
have to talk good about it,
Yeah.
because they are very, very fast and they don't damage the parcel.
Well, and on the consumer side, we know it's there's good tracking. There's an efficiency. That,
Absolutely,
that
and
confidence.
and my e-commerce team is also like tracking it 12 hours a day at least.
Right.
You have no idea how lovely the teas are in Darjeeling.
And Rajiv Mitra, it's been such a pleasure to meet you and your brother and the shop. And we're not done with you yet because I think we're going to become one of your best customers.
Absolutely.
Well, we have a history of, Rich is...
Well, me, Paul, because I never like to say goodbye on the phone or any conversation. And so I'm going to just come back around to you one more time. And what's the message or the thought that you have just in closing this podcast with the hotel guys?
Sir, I will say one thing. The way you are promoting not only my business, wherever you go, the kind of enthusiasm that I saw in you when I met you on the second day and we talked about it. I think you are doing a great job for people, small startup like us.
Sure.
I will say small startups, sir. I am very happy to be a small startup because I have not gained maybe millions of customers, but whatever I have, it is growing by the day and I have lost none.
Right.
So,
Right.
people like us, we need people like you
Yes,
who promote
right.
us.
And
I
vice versa.
absolutely, from the core of my heart, I thank you.
Yes. Well, it's been such a pleasure.
We love your product
Yes.
and
Thank
we
you,
think
sir.
you're awesome. You're just a bright light and we spot them and we love to share. So that's kind of what the hotel guys are up to.
It has been
So
our pleasure as well.
let's wrap it, Paul.
Yes, thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Take care, everybody, and keep traveling and sipping tea from
Yes,
Darjeeling.
absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rajiv.
You just heard another Hotel Guys podcast with Paul and Rich. You can reach the Hotel Guys at their website, hotelguys.com. Join us next time for another podcast with Paul and Rich, the Hotel Guys.